Watchmaking saved my life. I owe so much to it. When I was doing my studies as an engineer, I didn't know what to do any after that. And I was actually going to work for one of the big corporations, Procter & Gamble, Nestle, etc. And by an incredible chance, and I really believe in karma, an incredible chance, I met the CEO of Jaeger-LeCoultre, who actually offered me a job. And I fell in love with it. And I found a family, I found a passion, and I just gave myself to it. So I'm 22 when I discover watchmaking. And then 23, just at the end of my studies, but not completely at the end, I took a sabbatical and went into the army. And I had, after 2 months, a pretty horrendous accident where I should have died. My Jeep was overturned at 50 kilometers an hour. I was ejected. I fell luckily on the grass, and the Jeep finished its roll on my back. For whatever reason, I survived. And so after 6 weeks of hospital and having physiotherapy, I jumped on a bus and I went up to this little watch store. I had been drooling in front of their showcase about this Abel chronograph in steel. We're talking of 30 years ago. And it had the El Primero movement, and I'd wanted that watch. And I went in and asked if they're going to give me a discount. And they said no. I said okay, and bought that watch. And I asked the lady to put it on to my wrist and went back home. And I was so happy. It was my celebration. I was still alive. It was interesting because I come from an environment where nobody has money and nobody understood why I put all my savings into that mechanical watch. And everybody's like, why would you do that? But I knew why. And I think that's something which you can find now in the whole process of MB&F. The emotional attachment to our pieces is incredibly important. And I think it comes from the fact that this incredible amount of emotions we put in it. You love it, you hate it. And if you love it, you really love it. I've become more or less schizophrenic in my creative process. Meaning the horological machines are my psychotherapy. I go and revisit mostly my childhood. So you'll see planes because I used to make model airplanes. You'll see spaceships because I was Han Solo. You will see cars because I dreamt of being a car designer. And more recently, it's also other things which have happened to me. We created the aquapod because my wife got stung by a jellyfish, and I was looking at these jellyfish thinking there would be incredible mechanical robots if we actually processed them that way. And then you've got legacy machines. And that's what amazes a lot of people, is like, how can this creator be actually creating such different objects? Legacy machines are my way of saying thank you, because I worship 19th, 18th century watchmaking. It is so beautiful. I mean, the greatest creations, the greatest creators in our industry were 200 years ago. Those were the geniuses. And when I look at that, I want to say thank you. So legacy machines are my tribute to the people who made me fall in love with watchmaking. So they're more classic, they're more cerebral. As a creative process, it's completely different. Horological machines come from my guts. Legacy machines come from my brain. So one is free, is crazy, is scary, and the other is thought, processed. It's probably who I am. I only understand that sometimes I'm happy after maybe 2 weeks of working on a project, or maybe 5 years of working on it. And until I am happy, I will consider it's not beautiful. But you know the good old saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't know if I create something which is beautiful, but it's something I love. And that's the most important for me. The pieces I'm the most proud of are those I was the most terrified of. Those where I was thinking, nobody's ever gonna buy this. And I still went ahead. And there's an incredible feat which has happened, is that every time I've been terrified, it's been our biggest successes. The Opus Project at Harry Winston was created solely initially to help a friend. It was François-Paul Journe, who is one of the greatest watchmakers today. And 20 years ago, he just launched his brand and nobody knew about him. And at some point I said, we should do something together. Harry Winston, FP Journe, we can tell the world how incredibly talented you are. We can be a loudspeaker for you. And it started like that. There was no great marketing scheme idea. It was let's help a friend. And that's the absolute best example of karma. Initially, when we launched Opus One, no one understood it. The press, the clients, the retailers, and everyone was like, what is this story? Why are you crediting that person? Why are you talking together? And I think often you realize that most great ideas, when they come up, they're usually misunderstood at the beginning, until at some point you realize that's something special. A big part of MB&F is about giving back. And if you look at our Mad Gallery, that's exactly that. It's helping these incredible kinetic or mechanical artists who cannot find any galleries or interested in them. So not only am I in love with what they do, but I'm helping people who don't have a house. And the fact of giving back today has become an enormous part of who I am. I have no idea where we're going. And that would have been something which would have been a horrible nightmare for me 20 years ago, in uncertainty. And it's an incredible pleasure today. So what I've understood over the years is that I have no idea what weird, crazy idea is going to come into my head and what's going to happen to me. And I've embraced that. I've embraced the fact of not knowing where we're going. I love the fact that I have no idea. What I do know is that the fundamentals will never move. Respect, honesty, integrity, creativity, working with people I love, that's not going to change. But in which direction we're going to go, I don't know. We live at MB&F as artists. And an artist doesn't have plans and trajectories and objectives. I don't think he should. I think an artist should let himself be free and wake up tomorrow morning and have a different idea. All I know is that when it feels right, it is right.